Wait, is that the notes? For realsies? Hey, Stojam. I did a first impressions of the new patch 2.0.6 when it was released. I did this live over on Twitch, links below. I intended to upload this video on the day, but it's been a pretty busy week. I'm going to make these videos, the first impressions of new patches when a patch is released, and then a few weeks later, follow up with a how's the patch doing, discuss the first impressions, predictions, and talk about the patch in general. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the patch. I hope you enjoy the video. We're going to go through the notes together. All right. That's the plan. So we know about the objectives. He's asked for help, so that's the lore behind it. There's Dark Relic Voyages, Athena's Fortune Voyage, Commendation Rewards, we've seen those. A Reaper's Chest, Commendation. That Reaper's Chest, if you can hand that in to the Mysterious Stranger, then I'll be good. But I don't know if you can or not. Turn the chest to Duke, if you can. Interesting. So, ranged and melee hit detection. Players will now find that engaging in combat with other players out in the world is much more responsive. When targeting a rival player or skeleton, then taking a shot or swinging a sword, players should find that the hits are more consistently registered and damage applied as expected. Hit detection improvements across the game include ship to ship, ship to water, and water to water player encounters. So that's something that we've needed for a long time, right? Let's just see how good it is. I'll be curious to find out how quickly we know if that's true. You son of a... Rowboat with a harpoon. Alright, that's cool. Rare type of rowboat with a harpoon attached. Interesting. Not sure how effective that's going to be, but I'm sure it's fun nonetheless. Barrels of Plenty. Players can now find greater range of items floating within barrels. Be sure to stop and check them out. You may find skulls, artifacts, chests, merchant crates, mermaid gems, messages in a bottle, or even gunpowder kegs. Why not use these inconspicuous floating mines to your advantage against rival crews? That's cool. I think that you should have been able to find more stuff in the barrels than just general supplies anyway. Again, I would still like to see the barrels from a ship float up. That would be like a nice change. I still don't like that we fight another ship and you're at a disadvantage straight away. Even when you win, it's still like you're losing, especially if you win on your last supply. Like, you never know who you're coming up against. You never know how long they've been on the server, how quickly they've gathered supplies, how lucky they've been with the rarity of whatever supply they have an abundance of, you know? Harpoon that meat. So you can harpoon floating meat, which is something that should have been in for a while, but it's good that it's in. You can harpoon kegs to enable you to pour them back to your ship so they no longer detonate. It doesn't say they don't. Is there still a chance? We'll find out. Some fixes to the Tall Tales. New puzzle locations even, sorry. Arena matchmaking improvements. When entering the arena as an open crew, players will now be prioritized to load into a tavern waiting to start rather than an active contest. This should ensure contests start more quickly and come closer to our full crew and player count. Configuring a controller, so some controller changes if you're interested. Look dead zone, responsive curve. Improvements to muting other players. The game options menu has been restructured to split the My Crew and the other crews pages. In Adventure, these settings remain unchanged, but in the arena, all players currently playing on your server are shown in the other crews list. This makes it easier to see who is on your arena server and provides you the ability to mute their voice text phrases individually in addition to the global or other cruise settings. So this should be in Adventure as well. I've wanted, and I know a lot of other people have wanted, the ability to see how many people are on your server and see who's on your server. Now, I know that has a different context for stream snipers. Makes it easy for you to stream snipe and stuff. So that's something else I have to address, but it'd be nice to just see how many ships you're actually looking for on one server. And then you can avoid the server if someone joins and you don't want to have to deal with them out on the seas, you know? I think that would be good. Replace gamer tags. Players now have the new option to replace gamer tags. When enabled, this replaces your gamer tag, your crew members' gamer tags, and any gamer tags of pirates you meet in the open world. If anyone else on your server enables this feature, the replaced names will match for everyone, allowing players to strategize and shot call as before. If you've encountered another player in the world, who has chosen to replace their gamertag, their true gamertag will still be visible to you to ensure you know who you're playing with. So it doesn't scramble that you can't scramble it for other people seeing it. I don't know, maybe that'd be good if you could scramble it completely. But I mean, characters look alike. Like, you get used to how characters look. So if you're really looking for someone, you can tell by the way they look. Yeah, you can. It looks like you can mute players singly with the muting other players. Key bindings for hide non-crew gamer tags. Players can now assign a keybind for the show nameplates above the other crews option. This allows fast access to showing. So this is a good thing. If somebody's being really racist or just being a dickhead and they need to be reported, then you can just straight up get it up quickly, I guess. Audio experience. Various improvements have been made to the overall audio experience, including effects for digging up bait and cannibal impacts on wood. I guess we need to just try it out. Game balancing. Alright, this should be good. Stronghold keg skeletons. Pirate legends will now encounter a threat of a lumbering skeleton wielding a devastating stronghold keg when tackling a pirate legend voyage, so be prepared to run. That's interesting because if you really want to have a mega keg all the time and you don't want to do a fort, you could probably sit down in Athena and go straight to where the skeletons are and then leg shoot them out and then just pick one up and then cancel the voyage or something. I see that being a thing that's going to happen. So maybe you'll run across crews that have those kegs a lot more often. You can also see why they made the other one, the hand in of the stronghold kegs time limited, because maybe they foresaw that. Lord ability chaining. Skeleton lords encountered during Tall Tales can now use their abilities in sequences to aid them in combat. For example, a skeleton lord can now initiate a knockback and summon reinforcements or teleport to a new location or both before players can recover. Okay. Seems like they've actually made something more difficult. Gunpowder skeletons. Gunpowder skeleton spawn rate has been reduced while players are out exploring islands. I can see why people want that, but you've just made one thing harder and then made one thing easier. Emergent skeletons. When freely exploring the world outside the constraints of a voyage, the difficulty of emergent skeletons has been reduced to ensure newer players have a safer time exploring. For players on a voyage, rank-appropriate emergent skeletons will spawn to challenge you and your crew. So basically, it used to work where whatever level you were, I think it was probably based on Order of Souls, more than likely, if not based on being a pirate legend. The skeletons that pop out of the ground were based on your level. So I could go to an island and have to do more damage to skeletons than someone that was a new player. So it seems they've dumbed down those skeletons there, but kept the difficulty on the voyages. Skeleton difficulty across higher ranks. On higher rank voyages, crews will encounter fewer skeletons with large health pools and instead face off against more skeletons in waves, reducing the frustration of those longer, more drawn out skeleton encounters. Okay, so bigger waves, less HP. Sailing a sloop in the storm. When sailing through a storm in a sloop, the storm's effects on the handling of the sloop have been reduced and the sloop's wheel will be pulled less aggressively. Okay, that's... I don't know. I'm not too bothered about that, honestly. Yeah, I can see people doing that with the mega kegs. Fixed issues. After placing the star jewels in the statue, so there's a totem fixed, right? When successfully blocking a strike, the defender will now correctly see the block video effects and block animations. Okay. Players holding on the bottom rung of a ship ladder are once again vulnerable to damage from ranged weapons. It wasn't just the bottom rung though, was it? It was like the whole ladder. If you check out my PvP tips and tricks video, there's a clip in there for when I'm in the arena and I'm anywhere on the ladder, I'm not taking any damage. Players are no longer able to harpoon the fishing float, but we enjoyed the videos while they lasted. It only recently come out, didn't it, that little glitch that people really knew about it. When placed on a moving ship, gunpowder kegs will once again take damage from sword attacks. Didn't know they didn't, frankly. Players will no longer be staggered when on a ship located close to an island experiencing an earthquake. Okay, that's good. So that was one of Summit's problems with the game, was that he was trying to tuck on a ship and it brought him out of the animation and he'd spent ages tucking on a ship. So that's one for Summit. Devil's Roar Geysers no longer kill you instantly and now launch you up into the air. Wait, they've been killing you instantly? Fish caught on left on fishing rods will still be visible following server migration. Didn't know that was a problem. Players will no longer appear visually distorted and snap back to an incorrect position if migrating servers while on a ship's ladder. Didn't know that was a problem. pirate phrases are now present for all raw fish types. Okay, nice little localization kind of thing, I guess. Skeletons should no longer have audible clicks, pops during footsteps, and vocalizations. Was that a problem? I don't know. The audio experience has been improved when cooking on a galleon so that players can clearly hear the cooking sounds through the grate. Okay, don't really play on a galleon enough, and if I do, it's always in the arena. I guess that's a quality of life thing, but, you know, if you time the cooking, you don't really know. You don't really need to know, sorry. Traps located inside caves will no longer be heard by players outside caves. So I guess that makes it easier to stop you from going to where the islands that have traps on and seeing if they've been activated, so if you know if a player's there or not. It's probably a nice kind of anti-grief change that's been a problem, I guess. I've seen the Reaper's Mark video, XP, yeah. Smaller female pirates now correctly grip tankards with decorations attached, such as the Glorious Sea Dog tankard. Didn't know there's a problem. Navigating the settings menus, then restarting the game will no longer show the previous settings options highlighted. Didn't know there was a problem. The front-end session setup panel is now cleared correctly when joining a crew through an invite. Okay, didn't know there was a problem. I'm lonely, I don't play with people. The arena. It is no longer possible to harpoon players who have already been killed in the arena. Didn't know that was a problem. Players will be removed from the tavern cannon when migrating to a new server. Okay. Was that a problem? Was that causing some kind of god mode bug? I don't know. I don't even know why that was fixed. Or why it needed to be. Taking damage while sailing into the Devil Shroud no longer causes the screen to occasionally flash. Okay. I don't think I've ever been into the Devil Shroud in the arena, but okie dokie. The Glorious Sea Dog shovel now has correct digging video effects. Ship livery is no longer... Wait, that's the arena? Oh, I guess because it's from the arena, huh? Ship... Is it liveries or liveries? No longer display graphical issues on the inside of a sloop's hull. Okay. Oh, you got stuck in the cannon? Oh, really, Mungady? Oh, yeah, well, who knows? Some Shores of Gold fixes that I don't really care about, but you can read it if you're interested. Devil's Roar geysers no longer should erupt from wooden platforms. Players can no longer get stuck on a barrel near the Sanctuary Outpost Tavern. Players will no longer find plants clipping through rocks on Lone Cove. The pond of the southwest tip of Old Faithful Isle has been filled with water. I don't even know where that is. The Shroudbreaker Tale voting book on Plunder Outpost should no longer flash under lighting. Resolved incorrect collision on Fetcher's Rest Volcano. Resolved placement of an island dressing causing clipping on Sailor's Knot Stronghold. Resolved incorrect material on ruined boat on Fetcher's Rest. Pond reflections on Crescent Island now display correctly at all times of the day. Resolved flickering texture issues in the arena tavern interior. Known issues: gunpowder keg hit detection. So hitting gunpowder kegs at range. Didn't Beard hit a keg 4 times in a row and it didn't explode? I don't think I've quite hit a keg that many times, but I've definitely seen him hit a keg 4 times. Telltale accommodation shown is incomplete. Okay, so the main things there is probably the hit. This thing. This is the thing I'm most interested in. This is interesting. So having hit reg fixed is going to be good. The barrels are plenty is good for a solo player at least. Matchmaking. I mean, if they'd have brought out the sloop arena, we'd probably all be happy, huh? And the gamer tags and the muting thing is interesting, but like I said, I think that we should be able to do that in the normal adventure mode as well. You know, especially if you've met someone as well, or you get within a certain range, maybe it should pop up then. I don't know. I don't know how they could do it. I can see why they want you to not see how many people are on a server, but I feel like that should be an option. Interesting. Alright, well, that's the changes. Unless I missed anything, guys, which I don't think I did, let me know. Let's get into this voyage. Nah. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh.